Hello.
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 Let's go!
Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
How about a Liberty City? Burn it to the ground.
Does the word mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds. Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
Don't you stop worrying about the punk?
You, that's my name.
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing, for your listening pleasure,
We're back. It's a new year. It's a new you. It's episode 65 of the High Fives podcast. 65 of the High Fives podcast. That's fun to say.
It sounded fun.
Yeah.
You look like you're having a good time doing it.
You want to try it?
Nah, I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. That's fair. 65.
2021, I'm not trying anything new.
No.
Just coasting.
Yeah. That's what it's all
You
about.
do the new, I'll just coast.
It's fair. Episode 65. It's the songs that are a product of the year that was 2020.
Yeah. A product meaning they're written about stuff in 2020, not just a product of 2020.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good way to be clear about that.
Yeah.
Not just written in 2020, but we're about the year that was the dumpster fire of 2020.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what a dumpster fire it was.
Yeah, and here we are in 2021, and it's still very much the same.
It's almost like time isn't real.
Right? What do you mean we have a new year and things haven't changed? They've only gotten weirder and worse in a lot of ways. Yeah. How was your break?
It's been good. How about you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got the actual break. I didn't have to do a double episode in December, so...
Well, I don't have to do it. I just...
No, you do.
I choose to do it, and I do it poorly, but I choose to do it.
The fans crave it, Mike. You can't put down the fans. It's like in Christmas Vacation when Clark is expecting to get that bonus check. You can't start all of a sudden handing out Jam of the Month Club. Like, you got to give the kids the bonus check.
Nate, let's be honest. That episode is basically the Jam of the Month Club. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Yeah.
All year long.
What did you get up to? I may have saw that you learned some magic, that you're now an illusionator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I learned one trick.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a one-trick pony when it comes to magic, but man, is it ever a good trick?
Are you prepping to do birthday parties once the pandemic is over?
You know, I did my brother's birthday party when I was about 10 and he was about 5, and that was kind of a first and last of the birthday party syndicate that I was.
Oh, are you moving to
on.
like more adult magic? Like
Yeah, I'm looking at more adult magic.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
that's where the money is. It's not really at the kids' parties.
more of a Chris Angel kind of guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You could get a wig.
I could do lots of things. I could get tigers,
Yeah.
you know?
I heard they're all the rage. That's a very 2020 thing, getting a tiger.
I was just thinking about that. Like, doesn't that feel like Tiger King came out like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
It was only like, it wasn't even this time last year. It was like months later from now.
Everything is a blur. Like even when I was doing my list for that 2020 thing, I would go back and I'd be like, that came out in 2020? That felt like it was like years ago. Or or other stuff would feel like it just came out a couple of weeks before. And you're like, that came out in like January? What?
Yeah.
Like, time just seemed really weird last year and this year, I guess, you know?
Very much so.
What else?
Well, and like,
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
that's
you.
okay.
You've got more magic tricks to talk about. You go ahead. This is the magic hour with Nate.
This is not the magic hour, Mike. It's a totally different thing. That's the one I get paid for. Okay? This is the one I don't get paid for.
All right.
But I was thinking, you know, like, so when bands are writing songs like in a year like 2020, like there wasn't a ton, I don't think. I think most bands, like what they were writing was already written and they were already either recording or whatever, or it was already recorded and it was being, mastered or whatever. Like, I don't think a lot of bands last year were necessarily writing about the year that was.
It's because everyone was doing an Instagram live show. Everyone.
That's true.
Every goddamn band.
So I wonder if like this year we'll hear more albums that have content from last year. Cause I mean, last year was tough times. And is there a better time to write music than during tough times?
Oh, I'm assuming we're going to get some really cool, interesting music coming out. The only thing that would be weird is I guess a lot of people maybe couldn't connect with their band. So, but I think like all things, you probably figured out stuff like Zoom and I mean, we figured out how to do this. So a band should be able to figure out how to put together a song. I mean, bands have been doing it before. Like Taylor Swift put out her album and she collaborated via like the internet and stuff with her producers and the other writers and stuff. So like, I'm sure it's happening.
For sure.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Actually, like some of the stuff that we picked, I'm sure was written that way in some regards.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were some bands that just like outright wrote stuff last year, got it together and put it out.
Yeah.
But I think that there were lots of bands too that were like, if we can't tour the album, I don't want to put it out. And then there were probably other bands who, like I say, had stuff written and or recorded already or had an album written and didn't want to add to it, so it was not stuff necessarily written about last year.
For sure. But before we get to that, should we see what you've been listening to, Nate? Because it's been a while since we talked. I want to hear what you were listening to.
I think that's a good idea, Mike. It's a real good idea.
That was a good segue. Maybe 2021 will be the year I do the segues.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know that you could spell segue.
Ouch. I did fail at making an ice rink, which is like my biggest failure in life in a long time.
I feel like we should talk a little bit about that. What is so hard about the ice rink, Mike? I mean, you've become part of the brethren that is the Canadian Dad Association that is making the ice rinks this year because they're kind of everywhere. Like last year and the years before, you'd see like one or two pop up on a social feed and you'd be like, oh, that guy. But like this year, it's like lots of people doing it. Like, did you just hit it at the wrong time? Is that what it was?
I think I had a perfect storm of suck in that it was not cold enough.
Okay.
We got that crazy snowstorm.
Right.
Not knowing enough about slopes in my yard. Slopes in my yard. And like, I don't know. And I've wasted so much water. And all I think about is that like ice forms everywhere. And for some reason it won't form in this fucking spot. It's killing me, man. I spend like an hour and a half after work every day, like an hour and a half, like pouring water in spots, fixing divots with like slush. I don't know, man.
Is your expectation just too high? Like, is your level of perfection too high?
It could be, being that like I was never like play on the backyard rink. I always played like when I was a kid. My mom refused to sharpen my skates if you played on in the backyard, because if you play on like ice like that, when you go to play on like good ice, your skates are really dull. And I think my parents just didn't have that much money, so they were like, "No, you're not sharpening your skates you're not sharpening your skates twice a week because you want to go play outside. You're not Gretzky. You go to the." So I was spoiled and grew up like basically playing inside always. I have an expectation that ice needs to be smooth and nice. But no, my ice is even if I had low expectations, my ice is shit right now, and it's killing me, Nate. It's killing me.
Well, I hope you can come back from it, Mike. You've only got a small window of time, and I mean it's not been cold here either, which I'm sure doesn't help your cause.
You know, it's weird. My grass is green where the snow's melted. I don't think I've ever seen green grass in January.
It's like rain the other day too. I hadn't seen rain in January ever.
Have you seen rain on a wedding day?
I've never, not once.
I've heard that's ironic.
It's very ironic. Very, Mike. What have I been listening to? I'm going to keep this somewhat short. I cut it to just 3 things because we got a lot more to talk about on the podcast, and I'm sure that you have more than 3 things. And I just kind of left it at things I've been listening to since Jan 1.
That sounds fair.
New stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily just new stuff, maybe new to me stuff. But number one is Bad Operation.
Oh,
They
so
put
good.
out yeah, you like that, hey?
So good.
They put out a self-titled record, came out like mid-December, and I had been actually like waiting for this since like October.
Yeah, we saw
and
that
then it
single.
it just kind of like passed me by.
I think it
And
came
then
out like I almost want to say like the week of Christmas, which is like a really weird time for music to come out.
I want to say December 16th, but if I've learned
Oh.
anything from 2020, it's don't say anything with any type of conviction that isn't 100% true.
Even if
So,
it's December 16th, like that's a weird
too close.
It's a weird time to release music.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so like a little bit about the band. Brian from Pears is in it.
Yep.
Which is odd. But I mean, I guess Zach from Pears being in Band-Aid Brigade is weird too. It's a very different sound to go from like kind of a fast hardcore band to ska.
I love that they call it new tone. It's such a great term. Like, I don't know. I think it's actually Jer from Ska Tune Network that came up with that.
That came up, like coined the phrase new tone.
Yeah, but I love it. It's such a good way to describe all this. Instead of saying, oh, it's the fourth wave.
Yeah, because I think I was trying to figure out like what it sounded like. To me, it has like that two-tone vibe, but it's not slow enough to be two-tone.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's quicker, but it's not like quick like that 90s ska. It's kind of that mid-tempo, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like pretty. I felt like it had kind of a Toasters vibe. You hear that?
Yeah, I see Toasters. I see Specials in there. I think it's more like you've got more jazz and soul elements to it that maybe that like the ska punk bands from the 90s didn't have.
Yeah, more like heavy organ than rather like horns and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's great. I love it.
I like it too. Kind of nods to Op Ivy and like a bit of that Hellcat vibe too from like that early 2000s. So yeah, pretty into this. Pretty into the new tone, Mike.
Yeah. Bad Time Records is just killing it with all that stuff.
Dirty Nil is second on my list. The album's called Fuck Art. Came out Jan 1. Another odd day to put out music.
I think it's the way the Friday fell. But yeah, you think like in this day and age, they'd be like, well, let's wait the week. No one's touring.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to have an album drop Jan 1.
All right.
I think, didn't Jeff Rosenstock do that last year or was it the year before?
I don't know if it was last year. He puts out so much, who knows? But yeah, he did drop one like Jan 1. It was like no one knew it was coming out too, right?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
weird
It's just
like
like a surprise. I was waiting on this one and it was not what I expected. Like not as heavy or aggressive as previous releases, not as chaotic either. Like much more structured kind of songwriting, a little bit glossier. So, yeah, I'm still listening to this one. I really like the artwork for it, and I like the album name too. And the last one is Slaughter Beach Dog, album called At the Moon Base. Have you had a chance with this one yet?
Yeah, I finally got to it. It's awesome. Love it.
I really like it too. Slaughter Beach Dog is half of the writing team of Modern Baseball. I mean, I think this is Jake Ewald's best of this project. I think this is second or third.
Maybe fourth.
Maybe. He's cranked out a lot, like in not a long time. This one feels very like it's very heavily storytelling, which is kind of like that nod to like a John K. Samson or a Craig Finn.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got really Craig Finn vibes on this one, which I thought was interesting.
But like still that Modern Baseball flavor in there as well. Like it's kind of this really nice meshing of all those three coming together.
For sure.
Michael.
All right. First one was the Dahmers, and they put out an EP called Witching Hour. Also came out, I believe this one actually came out Christmas Day, which is even crazier.
Christmas Day.
Don't quote me on it, but I feel like it was like actually like the Friday, like the 25th.
Wow.
But
that's wild.
It's awesome. Like I'm a big fan of the Dahmers. I don't know if you like them very much, but I'm a huge fan. And the song Blood Red Moon is probably the best song they've written. It's so catchy. Yeah. And they also have such wicked merch, but it's from Sweden, so it's really expensive to get here. So it's kind of a bummer. Next band is a band called The Goalie's Anxiety at the Penalty Kick.
Oh, yes.
Have you heard them?
Yes, I have. It's a very long name.
It is.
It's very like chilled out music, if I'm
I found
remembering
them
correctly.
really similar to The World is a Beautiful Place, which I guess
Okay.
makes sense because they're both from Philly. And
They both have extremely long names that are hard to remember.
multiple singers and like multiple instruments and stuff. So it probably would have made my list if I had a little bit more time to sit with it before the holidays and before I recorded.
Or like another 10, 15 songs that you could have put on there.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, there's always that.
But I really like it. I finally got to sit down with it a little bit more when I was like catching up at work and stuff, and it's awesome. A band I found from some year-end list was called Nana Grizzle. Have you ever heard them before?
No.
I heard the name before, and I always kind of figured they were like, I knew they were folk punk, and I always kind of figured they'd be like crusty folk punk, more along the lines of
Days and Days.
Yeah, that's the band I was going to ask you, the Fat Band, and that's sometimes not my jam. But this is a little bit closer to like folky, polished punk stuff. It's got members of Neutral Milk Hotel, Defiance, Ohio, and Witches. So it's pretty cool. So the album's called South Somewhere Else. And the last one was Owen, and the album's The Avalanche. Do you like Owen?
I don't think I know Owen. I always think of, every time I hear the name Owen, I think of that movie Throw Mama from the Train. Do you remember that movie?
I remember the movie, but I don't know the reference.
It was like that woman from Goonies.
Yeah.
And she was the mom in it. And
The one
she
that
just
got thrown
kept
from the
calling
train?
his name. Yeah. Owen.
Yes.
Owen, you don't have any friends.
Ugh. It's not
Did it sound like her, do you think?
Doesn't start the podcast very well for the year. Anyway, Owen's Mike Kinsella from American Football. His solo project. So every once in a while he puts out an Owen album. I always kind of forget about him, but then like when I hear it, I'm totally into it again. Super slow stuff. It's kind of John K. Sampson-y.
Cool.
Yeah. If you like American football, you'd probably like it.
I do.
I know.
I do like American football.
Both the sport and the band, or just the band?
No, I'm not a sports guy.
Sports.
Yeah. You're happy sports is back on, right?
I'm happy hockey's back. Yeah, I'm happy hockey, basketball, and soccer are on.
Yeah.
It's a good distraction. Hockey's been it's as pathetic as it sounds, hockey the last few days is a huge distraction for me. So it's nice.
Welcome back, hockey.
Yeah. Go team. Go local sports team.
Hooray. Shall we get on with the list?
Yeah, unless you want to do a magic trick.
You know what, Mike? I'm going to save all the magic for the end.
All right.
Because if there's anything I've learned in magic, it's to keep the audience just like in waiting. Yeah. You know, like everything's just like a big story leading up to the trick, at the end.
Before we get to our topic, just because it's the first episode back, I was just curious if you watched any new TV or anything over the break. Because you're a TV guy like me, or read anything? Any suggestions?
I've watched a ton of TV. I couldn't tell you what I've watched.
Isn't that a weird thing about this year? Like, I feel like I've consumed so much, and I'm just like, what did I consume? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's wild. And like I've started to go back and go, like not sure if I've watched things, and I start watching them, and I'm like, sometimes it's like 15, 20 minutes before I realize, oh no, I've seen this.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I've watched a lot. I couldn't tell you what it's been. Actually, I'm watching Your Honor right now. I don't know if you've seen that on Showtime.
I haven't,
with Bryan
but I've heard
Cranston.
good things.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I just finished Do What You Want, the Bad Religion book.
Nice.
And I'm watching The Wire again all the way through. This is like my fourth or fifth time. We're just about to start season 5, and I just started like an oral history book on The Wire. So that's
like
where
a
I'm
companion to watching it. Hey,
it's a companion. Yeah, it's a friend.
Nice.
Yeah. And you?
I can't say if right now I'm watching. I started Disenchanted again. This Disenchantment. Whatever, the Simpsons guy.
That cartoon?
Yeah, but it's the guy from The Simpsons and Futurama. I like it. I like the first 2 seasons.
The guy, like Matt Groening, the guy?
Well, and like Josh Weinstein and Bill Oakley and...
The guy.
Matt Berry's in it.
The guy that did all those movies. Oh, Martin Scorsese. Yeah, the guy, guy.
I can't think... I feel like I should have been watching a lot of TV, and I don't know if I watched anything. Cobra Kai? I watched that.
I tapped out on that show. Season 2 is more than enough. I didn't need another.
Got a bunch of comics for Christmas and books. I started going through those. I read a bunch of comics. That was about it.
Nice.
I was just more curious what you had done, because you're usually on top of that kind of thing.
I'm on top of it, Mike, but I can't really talk about it.
Okay.
I My memory is shot.
Oh, one other thing. I wanted to say thanks for making that awesome T-shirt design for me. You designed a Scorch T-shirt for me. We should have brought that up with the sports thing, but I'm super stoked. I can't wait to make the shirt. So
it's my pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. It was my Christmas gift to you.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's to show my feelings for you, Mike. I hope you felt all the feels.
I did.
The warm, scorchy feels.
Now on to the show. I'm assuming we're going to pick the Van Morrison, Eric Clapton anti-lockdown song.
Which is, I mean, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, man. He really captured exactly how I feel about everything.
Right?
Yeah. Really captured the rich privilege.
You got it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My first choice is a continuation of Christmas, because has anyone had enough Christmas by this point? Probably. I've had enough Christmas, but I'm gonna keep it going anyways. My first pick is a song called "It's Christmas and I Fucking Miss You." It was a single that came out right around Christmas time. It's Charlie Bliss. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Charlie Bliss featuring Pup. And so Charlie Bliss, the only even name recognition I had was they toured with Pup last time they came through Calgary. Mm-hmm. They were on that tour with them, I think across Canada. So, but this song was like on heavy rotation through the holidays. It's got that overly sweet, like almost too sweet kind of Christmas Carol vibe to it. But the lyrics really reflect how weird and shitty Christmas was this year, I'm sure, for everybody. It was a different kind of year, one for the books for sure. And Pup's kind of often depressing lyrics really helped to offset that like overly cheery kind of like the music that's kind of overly cheery in this song. Mm-hmm. So I think it was a great compliment to that. It really, I felt like it really was like a time capsule of the Christmas that was 2020.
And I'm not trying to put you on the spot because I've listened to Charlie Bliss, but are they Canadian too?
No, I think I actually might know this, Mike. Okay. I think they're from New York. Okay. I'm pretty sure they're from New York.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So my first one is off the Debt Neglector EP, Sore Loser, which came out in December, but digitally it came out in January. I think that was a little bit of a discussion in the WhatsApp chat one day. So.
How does that work? It came out digitally in January, but it came out before that?
I don't know. I follow them on Instagram, and they said it came out like on Bandcamp. It was out earlier, but then I think on like Apple and Spotify and things like that, it came out after. Like
that's odd.
Like if you go look in Apple, it says 2021 release. But anyway, the song I went with is Sore Loser. I know I've talked about Debt Neglector on here a bunch of times, so I like them a lot. It's a pretty good EP, but the song Sore Loser is about them watching the Confederate statues coming down during the summer protests.
Wow.
And it's something I feel strongly about. So especially I think in Canada, like when we have people trying to fight to keep some of the stupid statues and names on streets here, like I just don't really get the pull to keep it. I understand you can't erase history, but at the same time, you're just like, why don't I've just never understand the reluctant to change or to correct things and be like, you can still know it happened, but maybe our bridge doesn't have to be named after this racist asshole or
maybe we don't have to celebrate it any longer.
Yeah, or maybe we don't need a school named after someone that was like abusing kids or or a symbol of like oppression. Just tossing it out there. But it doesn't, you could have graduated from there, and I'm sorry if it really offends you. You can no longer say like, I went to Christopher Columbus High or something like that. But it's just, anyway, I thought that song was a cool idea because it was pretty interesting to see that visualization of a change.
Yeah, 2020 was a big year for change. Yeah. There was no lack of protests in 2020, that's for sure.
On all sides.
Yeah, but that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah, I guess, protests are good.
It means people care, right? It means people are willing to speak out and speak, what their minds, their opinions, which I guess isn't always the best, but I don't know. I think an engaged population is better than a lethargic one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think it just is crazy on top of other stuff. I think it just, this whole year was just crazy in itself, just on top of things. I don't think we've seen anything like this before, where it's just like a layers of crazy.
Layers.
Yeah.
Indeed. It's Christmas and I fucking miss you. Charlie Bliss featuring Pup and
Debt Neglector and Sore Loser.
Just bring those bastards down until there's no more fucked up symbols left around. Being an asshole don't make you a patriot. I want to watch your stupid statues fall to shit.
All right, that was the last Christmas song anybody's going to get until next Christmas, I guess.
Yeah.
A little side note, Pup put out that EP this year too. This place, or last year now, This Place Sucks Ass, which I guess really any song from that could have made this list as well.
Probably. Unless they're talking about Toronto. Pre-COVID.
Just in general?
Yeah.
There's a song called Edmonton on there.
I did see that.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you picked a protest song for your first choice because I picked a protest song for my second choice.
Excellent. Protest away.
Keeping the theme of protests alive. The song I chose was White Lies by a band called War on Women from the album Wonderful Hell that came out, I think, last October. Super politically charged band. I really like this band. The lyrics in this song very much playing on the whole kind of wash, rinse, repeat perspective around, the public support for massive social events. Mm-hmm. Where I think people get really, really amped up and really excited and really passionate about things when they're kind of on the mouths and minds of everybody. But it doesn't kind of take long for all that passion to kind of dissolve away, right?
Yeah,
and then we're just kind of stuck back in where we were before that event happened.
And that's so easy to happen too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, change needs to happen in those first moments, right? Because if it doesn't, it's not going to, that kind of fire isn't going to withstand that amount of time, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think for a large chunk of people, it won't. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the goal is to maybe change a few people's opinions or get that out there so that someone sticks with it. But yeah, it's very easy to get caught up in the anger or the excitement of it all. And then it's very also easy to slip back into your normal life and to be like, oh, well, I did go to that protest. I stuck my hand up and I said, I hate this. And then I went home.
Yeah.
That was enough,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, I mean,
and we're all guilty of it. I'm not
totally
saying like I'm some sort of hero. I'm always thinking about it. I mean, we're all guilty of it. It's very easy to do.
It's cultural, man. Like we don't have an attention span that, lasts very long,
Yeah.
So it's just, it's not something we don't hold on to things for very long. We're kind of, it's like news cycles, right? Like something's in the news cycle now for like what could be days, what would have been months before. So yeah, I think it's just inherently part of our now society, which is sad. Mm-hmm. This song also points to the murder of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement that, it didn't start after the George Floyd murder, but was definitely reinvigorated on a much larger platform than I think ever before, which was actually really inspiring, to see these protests taking place all over the United States, especially, and also Canada. But and also seeing, these massive city block roads that were, taken over by the writing, by the text of Black Lives Matter, just, across cities.
Mm-hmm.
So White Lies, War on Women.
Well, Nathan, I'm going to stick with that theme too. I'm going to go off a comp, the Ska Against Racism compilation that came out.
Such a good comp. I think my favorite comp of the year, maybe.
Yeah, I would say it was the best comp of the year.
Yeah.
The band is Mustard Plug, and the song was Unite and Fight, which is also about that sort of same idea. So you kind of covered it all. I really like that Tanya from the Lippies is doing the vocals with them on this band, because Mustard Plug's not a band I have paid that much attention to. Even back in the day, they had songs on comps that I heard, but I never was like a giant Mustard Plug fan. But I really like the song. Like the lyrics. I agree with it. It's sort of just same sort of idea, like that we have to stand up and stick up for people's rights and whatnot, and for our own rights. So that's it. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. White Lies, War on Women, and
Mustard Plug featuring Tanya from the Lippies, Unite and Fight off the Ska Against Racism comp.
100 years of pain and tears have set us on our path. Justice and equality will be within our grasp.
They corral us in the factions, they put us in a cage. They march us to the slaughter but cannot contain our rage. The message then is loud and clear and heard from coast to coast. The power of our unity is what they fear the most.
Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stand together, we know victory's in sight. Transgressions that continue to this day. We're making this transmission cause it hasn't gone away. We wanna move forward, wanna leave it all behind. But until it's all acknowledged, we cannot escape our mind.
This is not a call for violence, we won't return your hate. But the waters they are rising and the hour's getting late. We tolerated too much and been patient for too long. It's time to call for justice and it's time to right our wrongs.
Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stand together, we know victory's in sight. Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stand together, we know victory's in sight. Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stay together, we know victory's in sight. Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stay together, we know victory's in sight. Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stand together, we know victory's in sight. Unite and fight, unite and fight. Got to get together, got to do what is right. Unite and fight, unite and fight. If we stand together, we know victory is in sight.
Well, and the protests of 2021 have been pretty weird so far.
Yeah, I can't say I enjoy the music coming out of those ones as much.
No.
Can't say I'm into those and those attitudes as much.
No, or at all.
Yeah.
We're up to number 3 now, Mike. Look at that. We're halfway.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of banter before. We got nothing else left to say to each other.
I did finally, I should mention, I did finally finish listening to the top 40 with Mike Kondik. That's what the show's called, isn't it? Top 40 with Mike Kondik.
I like it.
Michael James.
I like to call it the super sexy
MJ?
super sexy hits of 2020.
What was sexy about them, Mike? That's
everything was sexy.
Everything. And I do enjoy it every year.
Well, thank you. I really always laugh because I feel like no one listens to it, so I really don't know, and I don't like. It kind of comes out at a weird time, so we don't really have a lot of conversation with people. So I'm always like, did anyone listen to that? Did I waste 2 weeks of my life putting this together?
And at the end of the day, if it was just one person, Mike, if you connected with just one,
you know what?
Then it's all worth it.
If you just listened, that's all I really care about.
Well, I did. I listened to it.
That's a lie. I care if you all listen, but Nate, it does help if you listen. Did you find anything off there?
You know what?
We talked so much this year about
exactly. Yeah. I think that was like if I'd found anything on there, I'd be like, Mike, where you been, man? Like, how did I not know about this one? And they're actually. No, there wasn't. But it was good.
No, it sucked. There was nothing you could have played that was good.
No, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. And I also like I like seeing what makes your top 40.
I did.
You know, it was 40, right?
I think.
Yeah.
I also put it on an EP list and a local band list. So this year I got a little.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see those.
They're on Instagram.
It must have been in the Don't Talk to Nate chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite chat.
Yeah. It's the best.
Yeah.
I've heard. I mean, I've never been in it, but.
We talk about magic tricks that you can't do.
Magic tricks that I can't do. Mike, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
You got to stop talking about the magic. Like we're going to wind this thing up and people, they aren't going to be able to handle it in the end.
Oh, all right. That's true.
All right.
I'd like to hear what you have picked out for the next track.
Well, I'm going to tell you, but first I'm going to tell you this. The magic actually comes from, I got a subscription to that masterclass. Have you seen that stuff? Like on the socials and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's so I did a little master classing with Penn and Teller, like some legit teachers.
Yeah,
some legit
they're people.
Profs. Yeah. It's pretty interesting though, like the whole master class thing. You know, like learning skateboarding from Tony Hawk and learning how to direct from Martin Scorsese, and like, it's pretty. I mean, those are some big names, Mike. You know,
Did you feel like you learned something?
I did. I mean, I learned a magic trick.
Well, I saw the trick. You had some major critics.
I don't know about major critics. Young critics.
There was a young person in there in that audience that really took to.
Yeah, that was a moment for sure. But I think you said
some
you were
of us
a
said
little bit.
I was
a little blown away. You were like, whoa.
I was blown away until the critic came out and was like, "Look, that trick's a joke."
He shouldn't have been allowed in the audience.
Tore you apart. You got heckled at your own house.
I know it's a tough room. This house, it's a real tough room, but it's cool. The masterclass thing is pretty cool. Like, you know, if you're looking for something new to do, because, you know, as fun as kind of, like I said, like with TV, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. I'm just watching, you know, I feel like I'm becoming dumber all the time. So if you can learn something, you know, while you're watching, isn't that great?
That's
isn't
awesome.
That good?
To be honest, that's one of the worst things about this year is I feel like I know we've talked about it a few times before. Like my whole life, I've been like, I just want like a year where I can just like, don't have to worry about any social pressures. And I could just like catch up on TV. I can catch up on reading. I can catch up on music. And I feel like I didn't do any of that. And anything I did just made me dumber. Like, I feel like when I type, my typing has gotten worse. My grammar is pathetic. Everything's just, I just feel like I'm like severely, like just not there anymore. And this is totally out of left field. I wanted to bring up something in the intro that you did that I thought was very cool. I liked your post the other day about trying to sit and listen to a record for real.
Yeah.
So
thanks, man.
I thought that was really cool. And I think that's a good idea, especially in these times. I don't know if I could do it, but it's really cool. It's a great idea to actually sit and enjoy an album by reading the lyrics and just like taking it all in a different way and especially in this year, I feel like we consume so much because like musically, even like, I was just like, I listened to way more music. I don't know why I listened to more music or how I listened to it or where it, like, and it didn't register. So maybe like you need to maybe like set up these tasks, or maybe it's a good suggestion for other people looking for something along the
I'm glad you like that, because I think for me, like, I don't have the same connections to records that I used to have. And part of that is the fact that there's so much and you're consuming so much. But part of that's like, you just don't give time to an album either. Like, so much of like this last year, music has been part of my background, but not like really part of my life. And so I felt like this year I really, like, I'm not a resolution kind of guy, but I do like to kind of set goals for the year. Because though, like, I don't think we're really like starting over. I think that there's like a new point of like, you know, things to kind of work towards for it's a marker, let's say, right? So that was kind of my, you know, not a resolution, but kind of a resolution to just like spend some time with an album at least once a week and just lay there and listen to it, not do anything else, not, you know, cook, not clean, not have a conversation with somebody, but just truly sit and listen.
So maybe you just hit the nail on the head right there. Maybe this whole year and why it feels weird is you just consume and it's just background noise, so you can't relate it to something. So you don't have that album that you like drove to some rad place, or you were like having a shitty day at work and you heard that album, or you went on a date, or you saw it in a movie or something and it just clicked with you and you like took it in. You just took it in. You didn't, there's no connection. There's no connection to it at all this year for anything, for any art or media. So it was there and it was great. That's why I said in that thing, there was so, in my year-end thing, there's so many good albums, but it was really like hard to narrow. Maybe it was hard to narrow it down because you have no personal relationship to the album.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Like you never saw a band play that album. You never created that emotional tie to that album, other than maybe for me that Spanish Love Songs or Phoebe Bridges, and maybe that's why they stood in my top 2 because they were like so impactful in a depressing time.
Totally. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I totally took us off track with that, but I meant to bring it up in the beginning, and it's just something I thought was really cool. So kudos to you, Nate.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, this is a better time to bring it up because the beginning was extra long.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the part of the show where we revisit some more banter.
All right. But I'd like to hear what your next song is.
Don't give away our formula, Mike. It's the secret sauce that makes this whole thing work.
Oh, yeah. The secret sauce. It's just ketchup.
And mayo. My next song is from a band, from an album, really, that wasn't on my radar. But this song is a complete reflection of what this last year was. In the fact that there was a lot of loneliness. The band is Red City Radio. The song is 100,000 Candles off the album Paradise. I know you're a big fan of these guys, right?
Like, I really like Red City Radio.
Yeah. And it's not that I'm not a fan, but I've kind of distanced myself as the years have gone on. And this album, I really connected to. I really like this album. This song, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'll let you finish, and then I'll just bring up that they might be local heroes now, because I feel
You've been stalking
through internet stalking. I feel like the singer lives in Calgary now, which is really fucking bizarre because he's from Oklahoma.
Is that where he's from, Oklahoma?
Yeah, they're like that's their whole thing is they're from Oklahoma.
Okay,
but like Calgary's a weird place to come from Oklahoma, so I want to I want some background to this. Why the guy from Red City Radio lives in Calgary now?
If you know this man, please contact us.
Yeah, we want to know why. I want to know why.
Calgary's a weird place to just end up. That's for sure. Especially if you're from not from Canada.
Yeah, like a lot of Canadians end up in Calgary.
Sure. So back to the song. I mean, there's a lyric in there that talks about like waiting for the world to die, and I mean, this song kind of just asks that question of, can it really get any worse? And like in his voice in the songwriting, there's a desperation in this song that I actually really appreciate because there's some authenticity to that. I mean, this song references the old adage, you can't start a dumpster fire without a spark, or a candle for that matter. So this is to me kind of like 2020's anthem.
Very cool. I like this album a lot. It's worth checking out. I know some people may have tailed off of their last one, but this one's picked it back up for me.
Yeah.
Anyway. My pick is a band, and this is kind of a different thing because this band formed out of the necessity of quarantine. So it's the Moore Family Band, and the album is Missy. That's what the album's called, Missy, because it's named after their pet. And the Moore Family Band are a bunch of siblings. Two of them play in Get Married, but they all moved back in together when the pandemic started and decided to form a band and write music to get through it. So it's a rad album. It features guest spots from Jeff Rosenstock and a bunch of others. And in one interview I read that they said that coming together during a rough time in the world really helped us all connect and become closer with each other. So,
that's cool. You'd flagged this album for me and I listened to it and I liked it, but I had no idea like the backstory of how this album came together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's getting a lot of hype. I think because of that, and it's a really good album. It's got like a lot of Weezer elements to it. I found like the track I picked it feels like it almost could have been on Pinkerton. So the track is Falling, and I believe it's about kind of not feeling at home and finding being at home. That's the gist I got out of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this band wouldn't exist without last year, right?
Yeah. So
potentially,
I mean, Get Married is still going strong, I think. So
cool.
Yeah, it's out on Asian Man, I think. Always a good sign if Asian Man Records is putting it out, in my opinion.
IMO.
All right, IMO. Took me a second.
It always takes me a second. Every time I see IMO, I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
We're just not hip, Nate.
So I shout it out so that I can remind myself
IMO.
what it means.
IMO.
IMO.
All right.
100,000 Candles, Red City Radio, and
Falling, the Moore Family Band.
Fucked in the air.
speaking of Edmonton, here's a band from Edmonton.
Oh.
This is a band called The Real Sickies, and they wrote an album last year called Quarantined. Guess what it's about? It's about the quarantine, Mike. It's about the pandemic that happened. It started in 20. Well, I guess it started.
I thought this
in
album was
2019.
about Jesus.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh.
It was a real letdown when I found out it wasn't about Jesus.
Man.
But it's this album was written in quarantine, and then it was actually recorded in quarantine from the comforts of each member's home.
Dude, they got it out so fast. Like, I feel like this came out in March, right? Or like the beginning of April.
Well, it came out in April, and like, yeah, we were all like sent home from our lives.
The end of March.
End of March. Like, it was fast.
Like, that was like, I was impressed that they wrote a full album, and it's not like a shitty album either. Like,
no,
it's a good album.
I think it rivals like their other stuff. Like, and it's not recorded like shit. It's recorded well. It's mixed well, and like it's a full realized album.
For sure, it's awesome. Like, I really like this album.
And I think, like, again, it's a great time capsule for this year, right? Like, I mean, it's one of the few, if not the only, that I know that did like a concept album like last year, let alone a month or weeks after everyone was sent home. So the song I chose was "Baby, I'm an Isolator." It's for an album that is about such a shitty time, it's actually like a really fun album.
Yeah, it's fun. I was gonna say, like, even like they got like clapping and all that kind of shit in. Like, it feels like a fun pop punk album. It's made it sound like the quarantine's a fun time.
Yeah, it's not, but it does sound that way. Maybe in Edmonton it's really fun.
Maybe
because maybe Edmonton's not that fun. Outside of the pandemic.
Every day's a quarantine.
I don't know.
You don't have to look at Edmonton. You don't have to look at Edmonton if you had to stay inside.
So yeah, I mean, to just add to what you were saying, this song is definitely one of those sing-along songs. It's one of many hits. Some of the other hits on this album include Washed My Hands, Bored Stiffy, Trapped Inside, and Fake Spring Break.
I was gonna pick Fake Spring Break for this because I thought that I just love how they took the quotes from those losers that went to that spring break.
Remember that? Like, that was not even a year ago, man.
Oh, I bet you those guys are planning spring break right now.
Oh,
spring
for
break,
sure.
Yeah.
Pandemic's not going to ruin my spring break.
Nah, I'm going to get drunk.
Forget it.
I'm going to get drunk and get herpes.
I'm just going to put that on a loop as a way of ending this podcast. You did it to yourself, Mike. You did it to yourself.
That's the motto of spring break. I've never been on spring break. Did you ever go on a spring break thing? I've never been to.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I went to Mexico during the American spring break one year. Yeah.
It
was pretty wild.
I believe it.
It was pretty wild. I was pretty sick by like day 3 because maybe herpes? It was day 2. No, it was not the herpes. But I woke up, we had been drinking. We'd had a few cocktails that night. This is many years ago, of course. And I woke up in the middle of the night with like the worst case of dry mouth. And I just went right to the sink and just like drank 4 liters of raw sewage water.
Oh,
and
I
was pretty sick days after that.
Then it was spring break. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my fake spring break.
Awesome.
Fully realized. What did you choose, Mike, for your 4th spot?
Well, I went a little bit more
about me.
Enough about diarrhea. Sorry. This is going to be a real switch here because I went with a song that might be a little bit cheating because it's a reimagined version of an older song. The band's Bad Religion. Song's Faith Alone 2020.
All right.
It's a stripped down version of the old song, but somehow it sounds like the lyrics could have been written about last year. Basically how like everything's gone to hell and people try to use religion and faith to justify it, but really we should be looking to things like science and stuff like that before that. I don't think it's like a knock on being religious, and that sometimes if you talk to people that are religious, and I I have a lot of family members that are pretty religious and stuff, and I'm just like, it's not that like I'm making fun of you for it. It's just like you can do both. Like you don't have to just have faith. Like there's nothing wrong with learning and like accepting and being like, oh, maybe that's not the way to think. It's okay.
Yeah, it's not what Fred Durst said, right? It's not just what Limp Bizkit claims, that you've got to have faith. You don't just have
that was George
to
Michael,
it.
My friend.
Yeah, I know, but Limp Bizkit brought it to the 2000s.
It's true.
Or the 90s, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been 90s.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of line might have worked in the 80s or the 70s under the name George Michael. But does not work in today's day and age.
Well, like, and I'll admit, I'm like, and I'm not gonna like preach or anything. Like, I'm a semi-practicing Catholic.
Preach.
And this past year made me more embarrassed to say I have any sort of faith than ever in my life. And the Catholic Church is a pretty fucking evil organization in general. So to be even more embarrassed about everything else. It's just like, I don't know, this whole year just made me question a lot of stuff. And I mean, not trusting science, trying to say political leaders are divine, discriminating anybody for their sexual orientation or beliefs. That's fucking garbage. So I think they just summed it up. And I think because the lyrics in Bad Religion are so intricate, it was nice to hear it like slowed down. Like, I don't know. I was like, oh, I finally understand what he's saying. Like, I probably understood it back then too, but I mean, you miss stuff.
Oh, totally. I mean, not only does he have hyper intelligent lyrics, but he's also sings them super fast.
Yeah. So it's like, sometimes you miss it. And I was like, I don't know. I just thought this really hit for the year. And just to clarify, I don't care what religion you are, or if you're no religion, an atheist or anything like that. I'm not one of those kind of dudes. Just to clarify.
Clear. It's clear.
All right.
It was a privilege to be a part of your sermon.
Yeah.
Reverend. Start calling you Rev. Baby, I'm an isolator, the real sickies. And?
Bad Religion, Faith Alone, 2020.
Heard a sermon from a creaky pulpit with no one in the nave. I paid a visit to the synagogue and I left there feeling plain. No one could tell me what to do. No one had the capacity to answer me. What the world needs now is some answers to our problems. We can't buy more time, 'cause our tender isn't valid. If your soul needs love, you can get consoled by pity. But it looks as though faith alone won't sustain us no more. Watch a scientist throw up their hands, conceding progress will resolve it all. Saw the manufacturers of Earth's debris ignore another Greenpeace call. No one could tell me what to do. No one had the ability to answer me. What the world needs now is some accountability. We can't buy more time, 'cause time won't accept our money. If your soul needs love, you can always have my pity. But it looks as though faith alone won't sustain us no more. Capacity to answer me. What the world needs now is some answers to our problems. We can't buy more time, 'cause our tender isn't valid. What the world needs now is some accountability. But faith alone won't sustain us anymore. Faith alone won't sustain us anymore. Faith alone, faith alone, faith alone won't sustain us anymore.
I'm glad that you picked a song that wasn't necessarily written about 2020, but that could be perceived that way, I suppose, right? Like where you can reflect on something that wasn't necessarily written in this time, but definitely represents this time. So like an example of that is like that entire Spanish Love Songs record, like feels prophetic, you know, like it was written, or I don't know when it was written, but it came out in February before this thing hit. And then like, so many of those songs I completely related to as a part of, you know, the experience that was last year.
Yeah, for sure. I guess even with the Bad Religion one, it's kind of made me weirded out. I'm like, are we still dealing with the same fucking stupid problems? Are we just recycling problems left and right? Like we just never really get out of them.
Completely. So that's kind of my choice actually for the last pick, Mike. It was a release from last year.
Are we on the last pick?
We are, yeah.
Oh wow, we didn't even do the thank yous or anything.
Oh, we should do that. I'm unpracticed. It's January and I'm unpracticed. It's your moment.
Well, Nate, it'd be a shame to not thank people.
It would be. I would be remiss.
I know they're here for the music, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who's listening to us, who's supporting us. I know we babble on, and I really appreciate all the nice things that are said to us. I know Nate does as well. Nathan just re-upped our website, so you're stuck with us for at least another year.
It's 2. I bought 2 years.
2 years. Well,
yeah,
that's a commitment.
The re-up.
That's like buying a wedding ring.
It's like it.
A promise ring.
A
promise ring. A promise ring.
I would say more of like a pin.
Oh, okay. I'd be willing to be pinned by you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hey, thanks again. I'm glad you stuck with us. I'm glad we figured out how to keep recording this during this crazy times. Check us out on Instagram. I think it's at High Five Podcast. I don't know. Is it? Do you know it, Nate?
I thought this was going to be the year that you were going to remember. I think I'm going to actually look into it and see what it is so that I can confirm or deny.
You can check our website out at www.highfives.ca or highfives.ca if you don't like the www or the HTTP thing.
Yeah.
You can check us out on Facebook. Slide into our DMs if you want to join our WhatsApp chat. I was thinking of maybe trying something one day if the pandemic keeps going on and we're stuck inside, and maybe doing like a music game night. If somebody's interested in that kind of thing, let us know. We'll do a high fives thing. But yeah, thank you again to everyone. Thanks to Nate for editing, and thank you to anybody that listened to the solo episode. But let's get back to your music, because that's what we're really here for.
That's what I'm here for, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this last pick, it was written last year. Well, I don't know when it was written. It came out last year. And I thought, yeah, this song could have been written, in those months of like the when the quarantine began. But then I found out that despite the fact that it was released, I think in the summer, this song was the single that came out in February. So it's a long way of saying that I think that there was probably a lot of songs like last year, and there had been a lot of songs that you could equate to this time, because I mean, it is filled with a lot of like just natural human emotions of loneliness and confusion and, just not knowing what tomorrow will bring. But I think that, those songs their message was just a lot louder in a year like last year.
Yeah. Would you say maybe that like 2020 highlighted something that we've all been dealing with for years?
For sure. Absolutely.
So just maybe it just put the exclamation point on it.
Yeah. Maybe it made it a little more comfortable to talk about, right? Because we're all experiencing it, not just some of us, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So this song, like I say, it listens that way. In the sense that like it feels like it was probably written, about that time. This song, it kind of references The Wizard of Oz as well, which I think is really kind of interesting in contrast. And I think basically this song is saying that there's like no going back to what was before, with that Wizard of Oz kind of nod, in the sense that like he talks about not going back to Kansas. And I think that it's kind of like talking to the fact that like there is no more normal. There is no more going back to what was once normal. There's just kind of what's ahead, and it's different, and who knows what it is, but it's where we're headed. So the song is Technicolor, the band is Benchmarks, and the album is Summer Slowly.
Oh, what a great album, Nate.
It is a good album, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I really liked it. I felt like this was like their step up.
Yeah.
Not that like it was a huge step away from what they've done before, but it was just that next level for this band, I think.
I'm a big fan.
Nice.
Okay, my last song. My last song is kind of a weird one. It's by Sophie Moon, and Sophie Moon's the daughter of Dan Andriano from Alkaline.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Alkaline Trio. And the song is called "Sounds of Fine." It's features both of them, and it's singing a Mike Park pen tune about quarantine life. I just thought it really captured the emptiness and fear of those, like, especially those first few months when we didn't know anything. We were just like, are we going to be able to go outside? Are you going to be able to play? And like to hear a kid singing it, I think we sometimes forget, like as an adult, it's hard, but like seeing kids, the stuff that kids had to go through, and this is going to be like so impactful on their whole lives forever. And like, yeah, it's easy for us to say like, oh yeah, don't go see your friends. And yeah, we'll figure it out, whatever. I mean, we already don't see each other when you get older, you're ready to see your friends less and less, but like telling a kid to like not go to the park is kind of tough. So
yeah,
I think it's like, I don't know. So she captured it pretty well. I like the song. It was just a one-off single.
That's a cool idea. Nice choice, Mike.
Thanks, Nate. It's a little depressing, but it's a good way to go out. 2020 was depressing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It definitely was.
So,
and who knows what's going to come this year? Do you know? Like I'm asking, do you know what's coming?
It might be a Planet of Apes.
Oh, that's the hope, at least, right?
Well, I for one welcome our ape overlords.
Technicolor, benchmarks, and
Sophie Moon. Sounds are fine. Stay cool and be excellent to each other. Try to stay safe out there, and we'll all get through this eventually, guys and girls and people.
I was writing a novel. I was painting a portrait. I was singing a song about another great big forfeit. Watching the progress slip through the cracks. The culmination of a year-long panic attack. Already got me a heart. Already got me a brain. Just trying to keep the first from breaking, trying to keep the others sane. I've got all the courage I need to keep on the road. But for the first time in my life, I've found some place that feels like home. It used to be so much easier when the world was black and white, and I could fall into my sadness, click my heels 3 times and hide. And now the world's in Technicolor, and I'm walking through the door. Tell my friends that I'm just fine, and I won't go back to Kansas anymore. I wanna shut down the system. I wanna hold my calls. I wanna see the world through my own eyes without a faux social withdrawal. Cause there's all clouds on my canvas, like choking my song. Like I'm staying out all night without seeing a single star. Cause there's a storm a-brewing, there's a witch on the wind, telling lies and treason, and watching us give in. So we look over the rainbow, but there's no end in sight. Always dreaming in color, but living life in black and white. It used to be so much easier when the world was black and white, and I could fall into my sadness, click my heels 3 times and hide. And now the world's in Technicolor, and I'm walking through the door. Tell my friends that I'm just fine, and I won't go back to Kansas anymore. Back to Kansas anymore. Back to Kansas anymore. Cause it used to be so much easier when the world was black and white, and I could fall into my sadness, click my heels 3 times and hide. But now the world's in Technicolor, and I'm running through the door. Tell my friends that I'm just fine, and I won't go back to Kansas anymore. Back to Kansas anymore. Back to Kansas anymore.
So I felt that we left that on kind of a sad note, and I wanted to use something a little bit more uplifting. So I'm sneaking a song in here without Nate knowing. So hopefully he puts this in. The song is a cover song of Sparks' song that featured Jane from the Go-Go's. The song is Cool Places, but this is done by Mike Park and Augusta Koch of Gladdy and formerly Katana. The song's super catchy. The video is hilarious. It just is upbeat. And I know Mike Park said they did it just for fun to kind of lift people's spirits. So I figured maybe we need a little lift as we exited the show. So hopefully Nate puts it out there. It's Mike Park, Augusta Koch, Cool Places. And I want to be cool places with you, Nate. So see ya.
Take you cool places tonight.
I wanna go where nobody's a fool,
And no one says, hey girl, need a light.
I wanna move like this and that.
A minimum of chit chat.
I never wanna cool down, cool down, cool places tonight.
I gotta tell ya, you're looking real good.
They let us in, so I'm feeling alright.
I like to go where sometimes they refuse.
Yeah, I remember last Saturday night,
But I'm feeling cooler now.
and they could tell we're cooler now.
It's obvious we're cooler now. Cooler now.
Cool places tonight.
Cooler now. Cooler now. Cooler now. Cooler now. I wanna go. 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 I wanna go.
I wanna go to cool places tonight,
I wanna go to cool places with you.
and after that we'll slip out for a bite,
Coffee shopping, toast, coffee and shoes.
and then we'll sleep till 5 p.m.
Start it up all over again. I never wanna cool down, cool down, cool.
I wanna go, 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 I wanna go,
I wanna go, I wanna go, I wanna go.
I'm going to get drunk and get herpes.